bonus warm-up as I promised. This is before you ride your horses, before you do anything really, whether they are new as in unbacked, whether you have an older horse and you really want to know what's the best way to warm your horse's back up. This simple routine, guys, done 4 or 5 days a week before work for 6 weeks consistently, you will start to notice a difference in your horse's warm-up routines. They should shorten the warm-up because their back will be more supple, more flexible. But also it's a fantastic way of assessing how your horse is actually feeling on the day. We all wake up in the bed feeling a little bit different, right? You can't say to me that you wake up every morning like a spring chicken. I mean, if you do, what do you want? And please let me know. But most of us genuinely wake up and one day we feel a little bit stiffer in our back, we feel a little bit tighter in our neck depending on how we slept. Why would it not be the same for our horses? So this little routine, so simple, so effective, and a great way to assess how your horse is on the day. So we're going to start with an exercise which is 3 circles to the left, 3 circles to the right, and then followed by a rein back. It's that simple, right? So I'm actually going to start with going to the right side. And let me just say as well, as you can see, I'm applying the pressure from the nose. So many of us, you can do this with the bridle, the head collar on, but many of us apply pressure to the bottom here or to the bit, which makes our horses lift their head up like this. Now, if you can see, if the head and neck is raised, what will happen is the back here will arch, the spine will arch, the stomach will drop. That's not what we want when we ride our horses, and actually it's not very good for their backs. What we really want is for the head and neck to be a little bit lower in a neutral position. None of this arching and behind the vertical nonsense. We just want the head and neck neutral so the back can come up, the spine can raise up like this, okay? So let's go into it. We're going to start with 3 circles actually to the right side. Watch my body language before you focus on the horse, okay? Look what I'm doing. I'm stepping back almost like a 10-meter circle, but I'm taking quite large, slow steps. What I'm not doing is this. Standing still on the spot, making my poor horse try and move around me. No, that's not what we want. A, I feel very dizzy, but B, your horse can stand on your toes, so please don't do that. So I'm going to invite him into my space, step backwards. My right hand, which is near the nose, is just encouraging him a little bit of inside flexion. Imagine the horse's body is like a banana around this circle. So you've got a little bit of inside flexion through the head, the neck, and then the rib cage is a little bit over to the left side. The inside hind leg is stepping under. I get a lot of questions about, oh, if I'm doing this exercise correctly, is it the inside leg that must always be over? Yes, you want to see some inside movement with the inside hind leg, but that's not the goal. Because how many of you sit on a horse that the back end feels all right, but the front end feels like it's going the opposite direction, the head is tilted? We don't want that. So this exercise promotes the feeling and the movement that we want to see when we're riding through our horse's body. So once you've done 3 or 4 circles to the right, switch direction, and we're now going to go to the left. If you feel like your horse is getting stuck, make your circle bigger by walking backwards, bigger yourself. A little bit of inside flexion here. He's just a little bit distracted up there. So I'm just going to walk a little bit more, lower my voice. I'm applying a little bit of pressure here with my left hand just to lower the nose, but there's no force, absolutely no force. Okay, once you've done your 3 circles right, your 3 circles left, the final bit of this warm-up routine is the rein back. We've all taught our horses how to rein back in different ways. For me, I like a little bit of pressure to the nose to lower the head and the neck, and then I'm going to ask him to step back with my body language. I'm not a lot of pressure here. Kind of 4 to 6 steps back, stop him, come forward, reward him. That routine, guys, so simple, so effective. Your rein back steps, if your horse is veering off to the right, to the left, do it against the fence line to help your horse, give them some support. Ideally, you want the head and the neck in this neutral position. If you're reining back with your horse's head up like this, at this stage in the early days, you're going to get that opposite effect through the spine, which we don't want. Remember, we want this back and this core engaged up like this, okay? It's a really, really effective way, when done correctly, to round through the back. Okay. I'm just going to give him a moment because he's seen something. He's a horse, he's not a machine. We're going to give him a moment. Good boy. You okay? We bring you back? Yeah? Going to use my breath a little bit. I'm just going to ask him to step back. Good boy. 2, 3, 4. Good lad. Come forward. Stop him there. Good boy. Well done. So that's a warm-up routine. Long lining with tack on. Why would you long line with tack on? You can long line with tack on to warm your horses up a different way instead of always riding them. Say the horses are newly started, so they've not had a rider on, long lining with tack on before you introduce the rider. I think long lining with a tack on really can be used and is actually overlooked when bringing a horse back into work. So a lot of us lunge our horses, we throw the tack on, we ride them. What about a 4-week period of long lining with a tack on? Why am I saying this? To condition your horses back to weight. We all know that structurally horses have very weak backs, and our goal all the time as riders, as trainers, as therapists is to develop horses with a stable, secure back and a strong, mobile core and rib cage. So let's go through the tacking up process. So I popped his bridle on with his reins. If you wanted to, if you're going to ride your horse before, you would just tie them in a knot like this and then put them in your throat lash to get them out of the way. For the purpose of this video though, I'm actually just going to take them off because I'm not going to be riding him after this. Okay. So we've got our numner. Good boy. And then we've got our saddle. Good boy. A lot of people, when it comes to long lining with the tack on, I'm going to show you a little bonus tip to do to help with the positioning, but also to help with the ropes going through the ring. Okay, bonus tip here. Grab a stirrup leather, sorry, I've not gone mad. This is how we can long line our horses to secure the stirrups. So place your stirrups down, the leather strap through the iron, go to the other side. Same again on this side. And all that you would do, you'd secure them nicely by connecting your iron. So now the irons are not going to be running up and down your horse's body when you're trying to long line. A lot of people do have the stirrup up here. You can do it that way, but again, for our younger horses and horses that don't have a very advanced posture yet or a little bit weak through their back, you want the long lines nice and low to mimic the rider's leg on board. So that's a great way there of securing your irons. Just going to show you to demonstrate how we would do this. Again, you take your rope, you take your lunge line, whatever you're using. We would go through the stirrup iron, connect it onto the bit. I would gently place this over his back. Good boy. I'd walk around to the other side, connect. Run the rope through the stirrup bar, connect onto the bit, and this is how we would send him away. So I'd gather up my ropes, constantly talking to him. Good boy. And he goes forward. Good man. And that is how you would ask your horses to step away with a tack on using the long lines. What I love about the long lines is that you can mimic the same exercise patterns you're doing in the arena, but you can do them out in the field. Not only is this obviously fab for your horse and yourself, your relationship, but actually the different terrain for their legs, exercising them on grass versus the arena versus the road. It's all good conditioning and strengthening for their body, for their ligaments, for their bone. I'm doing some serpentine work here just to mobilize his rib cage, encourage him to soften through his back by asking him to change direction. I'm obviously focusing on, does he feel different right rein to left rein, or does he feel the same?